Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I was going to do a video on otherizing today, which is the act of um, an individual or a group making another individual or a group feel other. It's a form of dehumanizing or making someone appear less human. Typically it's characterized by stripping away of traits. Sound familiar from my other video up there where we talked about what happens when people get traits stripped away and only negative traits attributed to them? Yeah! I think that otherizing is happening a lot recently. It's not just happening in race, but it is something that is happening to a lot of people who face racism, where they are considered other or the out group, and that makes it harder to reconcile with them and understand that they are human beings as well. It makes it harder to bring everyone together and make us all work better as humans. Now, when it comes to otherizing in today's society, like what we're facing right now with the pandemic, I think that there is a lot of otherizing going on with people who are not following as many of the regulations and rules that have been put in place. Those people are being labeled as stupid or dumb and inconsiderate, and while it is not the smart choice, making them different and making them other and putting them in this category of less than human does not help encourage them to tackle the problems that they're facing. A lot of people flaunt rules and regulations when they're having major anxiety. And it's weird that it takes the place of maybe the safety and comfort of having rules to follow, but that is sometimes how people's minds work, you know? It is not a bad thing that a mind works differently. It is a tactic that the brain uses and wants to try and distract you from what you're currently facing by making you self-sabotage in a way. Now, it is not a positive coping skill. It is not something that is very helpful during these times, but us shouting and belittling these people who are doing those activities also does not help them get better. I don't know about you, but when I was little and my mom told me to do something and she didn't really give me a rationale for it and she wasn't very nice with it, I would do everything in my little child brain that I possibly could to just barely follow the rules. I got to the point where, like, she would tell me, okay, we eat in the kitchen, Jocelyn, and I would go over to the kitchen and I would stand with one foot in the kitchen and one foot out of the kitchen and be like, I'm eating in the kitchen. I'm sure parents out there have experienced that as well. And if you haven't done something like that, that's perfectly okay. That's how my childhood worked and that's how my brain worked. I don't do that anymore. I try not to. But also, if a parent yells at you for something, you carry that negativity around with you a lot. If a mentor yells at you, you carry that negativity a lot with you. And you tend to want to lash out and do other things that you know might be able to hurt that individual, which is kind of where we're going with next. I should just stop this. We're gonna boil pasta. So when it comes to this like little self-sabotaging thing, I learned this the other day. It's kind of interesting. Also, the brain does some weird stuff. So we self-sabotage to gain a sense of control over our environment. Right now, everything is changing around us. The government is being very inconsistent with the information they're putting out. One day they're saying stuff is not dangerous, another day they're saying it's very dangerous, the next day they're saying, if we follow all this, it'll be fine. All of that together makes for a very confusing, very volatile environment. So it makes sense that your brain wants to control the things that it can control, and sometimes that means that it wants to be able to put out a fire to feel like it's worth something, or just flaunt the rules because they need a sense of release or they need a sense of control over the situation. What we have to work on here is making sure that that release that we find is healthy, that we're not putting other people in danger with our actions, and that we still understand that those people are hurting, which is why they're doing that thing. The people who are protesting are worried about their businesses. They're worried about like what they're able to do. A lot of those people might not have good home environments, so staying at home for prolonged periods of time might be very dangerous for them. But that's not how they're addressing it. They're addressing it in ways like, oh, we can't go to the bar anymore? What? we can't do this anymore, huh? But that's how my whole life operates. And it's because a lot of the things that you have been using to kind of cope with the situations around you are being stripped back. Not everyone is afforded a good home life. As a community on this earth, we need to try and understand that other people are hurting and that it is not up to us to call them stupid or say that they're idiots and such, but to come at them with compassion and try and figure out why exactly they're doing this and bring them into the fold of social distancing and the precautions that we need in a way that is positive rather than negative. It's the difference between giving a dog positive motivators to learn a trick and giving a dog negative motivators to learn a trick. The dog can learn either way, but you will have a lot of negative repercussions that come after if you're doing negative reinforcers versus positive reinforcers. And this is not me telling you that you need to treat your dog one way or another, but I will say that negative reinforcers have a lot of consequences to them that positive reinforcers kind of encourage out rather than shaming. So same thing with humans as well. You can have people who agree with physical punishment as a form of discipline, and you have others who it's less of physical punishment as it is other types of reinforcers, timeout, meditation, stuff like that. It's not as satisfying to the disciplinarian perhaps, but in my opinion, it's a better educational opportunity. And I think that too many of us right now are kind of falling into old habits of we want the satisfaction of telling somebody they're wrong, and so we belittle them and shame them into trying to do the right thing, when in fact we should be working on figuring out why they're not doing the right thing and addressing their concerns as they are, because I think everyone right now has really logical concerns about how this is going to affect them and how their business is going to work and how their finances are going to be maintained. And we're taking away all of the distraction methods that we've used in the past in order to stay functioning, and we're just having people sit with the fact that they're not in a stable environment, and that's really a dangerous game that we're playing. So next time that you hear somebody doing something that doesn't make sense to you, why don't we take a step back and take a deep breath and maybe ask some questions about why they're doing that. And I'm not saying ask yourself, but just talk to them, listen to them. It can be a virtual, it can be a phone call. Phone call feels less forced sometimes than scheduling a Zoom meeting or whatever you want to do. But yeah, so take a chance, talk to the people around you who you're seeing concerning behavior from, because oftentimes that's lashing out because you don't have control over the situation that you're in. Be on the lookout for part 2, where I am going to talk about how reward systems differ with positive and negative motivation, shall we call it. I hope that you guys are having a good day. I am really sorry for everything that's going on in the world. I wish I could make it better for you. I'm hoping that somebody near you does, though. And that's why I make these videos, to help other people, because the world doesn't rely on single people helping everyone. It relies on everyone helping just a little bit. And I know that you can do it. So go ahead, contact the people who you're worried about, and yeah, like this video if you thought it was helpful, comment if you have any ideas for future videos, or if you want to start a dialogue on your opinions of how we should handle people in this time. And yeah, stay positive in the comments, please. So subscribe if you have the time. I will see you next Thursday. I post videos every Thursday. All right, have a nice day, guys. Bye.